and merry meet. Let me just sort my camera out. Wherever you are in the world, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, anyway. So this first little project of Wicca solitary teachings, I thought we would start with smudge sticks. So a smudge stick, is very, I'm sure a lot of you know, but even if you don't, that's cool, that's fine. A smudge stick is basically a bundle of dried herbs, usually bound with string, and then it's burnt as part of a spell, ceremony, or even to cleanse the house, cleanse yourself. Sage is the herb for cleansing. This is fresh sage. I've picked it out of my herb garden. It grows quite abundantly, so when you do start growing it, there's lots of it, so that's very good. So I've picked sage and I've sort of left a lot of the stalk on. I haven't taken any of the leaves off, some of them have fallen off by accident. But yeah, I wouldn't take any of the leaves off. It's quite nice to have a thick, fat bundle of sage. So I would probably start off, as sage is the most commonly used one, and easier to use, I would say. Some may disagree. I'm going to start off with the longest sage sprout thingy, and then I'm going to grab other parts of them and literally just add them together like this, like you're doing a little herby bouquet. We're just going to bundle them together. We're going to leave some of the stalk. You don't have to, it's personal choice. I prefer to leave some of the stalks. I'm just going to keep adding until we have a nice big bouquet of them. I mean, when it's safe to stop, I would say, is that if you think it's too big, and that's completely, again, personal choice. Doesn't matter if it's too big. I mean, if it's massive, it'll just take longer to dry and take longer to burn. So this is my bundle here, and now these are freshly picked, like I said, from my herb garden. It's raining here in England at the moment, so I just gave them a quick dry with a tissue, give them a quick dab down, only because if it's too wet, we don't want them to rot if it's a big bundle, because that would not be nice, the opposite of a good smell. So I've got my bundle here. It doesn't matter if some of the leaves are wilted, it doesn't matter. And you can actually order sage leaves online as well, so you don't need to go into your herb garden and pick them. You can order them too. There have been issues with ready-made sage sticks. If they're too old and they're dried and they've been waiting a very long time, my friends have told me they can crumble, not burn very well, and not smell very nice. So be careful about where you buy them. I would just say that. Don't get any, the cheap ones on eBay or anything like that. Hopefully you have a nice herbal shop nearby, or even a pagan shop nearby. Okay, so once we've got our bundle, we're going to grab some string. It doesn't matter what type of string it is, as long as it's not heavily plasticky, if that makes any sense. So I've just got some normal black string here, thread, and first we're going to tie it. Can be a bit fiddly sometimes. I'm going to tie it around the base quite a few times to get a nice hold on there. Therapeutic. If you look at that, it's nice and around there. Okay, so we're going to slowly wind the string up the sage, so up the smudge stick. We're trying to flatten the leaves upwards. It's not essential, but it does help. So we're going to do a base string layer, and again, you can be messy. It's okay. It's okay. It's good to be messy. It's character. That's my excuse anyway. Okay, keep. Oh. Right, so we're going to wind it and wind it and wind it. You could probably do it a lot faster than I could, to be honest. I'm very clumsy. Right. Okay, so you can see now, look. We're getting there. Doesn't matter how much string you use. I mean, obviously don't use excessive amounts, because then you don't want to smell the string burning. That would be not very nice. And it's like wrapping a bloody present, isn't it? Okay. So as you can see, it's gradually looking more and more like a sage smudge stick. Okay, and again, you can actually, you can mix herbs together. So you can have sage with a bit of thyme, and I will show you how to do that. I've got some other little herbs over there. Okay, so as we've wound it back down to the bottom of where the stalk is, back there again. Right, as you can see, so, and strings here. Ooh, my scissors are over there. Grab my scissors, cut, wind it round, and I'm just going to hook the string through a few of the stalks. You know, you can do it differently, you can tie it differently, it doesn't matter how you tie it, to be honest, when it gets to that bottom bit, but I find that it's so tight that it doesn't really need a good knot on it to tie it. Right, so that is sage smudge stick. There we go. Okay, and now what we do, we get the string again. You can choose what length you cut the string. I'm cutting my string about this length, and I'm going to tie it around the base of the sage stick. It's a bit hard to show you untying it, but it is a normal knot. You're tying around the stem, the base of the smudge stick. And this is so we can hang the smudge stick upside down. So this is the smudge stick on the string. I would recommend, especially if you live in a hot place, to tie the smudge stick to your curtain rail, if that makes any sense, so the sun can dry out more. So I would really recommend hanging these in the window for them to dry out. For me, it just works easier. You don't have to hang them in the window, you can hang them anywhere, just not in the bathroom or the kitchen. You can probably hang them in the kitchen window, but nowhere it's going to get steamy or wet or moist or anything. We want them to be very dry. So that is one smudge stick. So over here I've actually got a variety of herbs. They're already dried because I wasn't going to use them as smudge sticks. I was going to use them for food. But I've got some thyme, and these are different. I've got different types of thyme actually, and I've forgotten the name of them. Ooh. But these are different types of thyme that are dried, and they've been hanging in my window. And even if something is dried, you can still make a smudge stick. It's just a bit harder because, as say this stage especially is quite malleable and soft, the leaves, you can do anything with them. They're very easy to form into a smudge stick. As these are very dry, very crispy. Even if I do this, a lot of it can come off. You can still use them again, but it's harder. So again, it's the same technique. You wrap it round. You can add different herbs together. Again, even when these are fresh, again, like malleable, you can put them all together to make a different smell, aroma. They look really pretty as well. And if you want, you can even add little flowers. This is a dried flower. You can even add little flowers to it, and you can give them as a gift. And they look beautiful. They look really lovely. And anyone can use them, even if they aren't a Wicca or a pagan. Even if they aren't into this practice, you can still tell them how to use it and how lovely the aroma can be. My mum uses them, and well, she is a Wicca, but she used them before she wasn't a Wicca, before she wasn't a Wicca, because she just loved the smell. So they're great as gifts as well. So you've got the little flower there, and then you can just bunch all this together into a smudge stick. Yeah, so I'd recommend just having a little field book. Like, you can write it in your book of shadows, but you can also just have a little individual book. Again, it's a ring binder. It doesn't matter what type of book you use, whatever you like, but this is a little wooden ring binder, and this has all my little bits in it, if that makes sense. Yeah, so if you would like to let me know what you would like to learn about next, I'm not claiming I know everything, but I'm just, I've been in the practice a long time, and it's nice to share. It is really nice to share. And if you guys would like to share videos, that would be lovely as well. But just leave a link or a comment of what you would like me to make next, and I shall do it. It's very fun. Blessed be.